Hello friends, today we have this light beam. Don't really know what to do about it, but you know what? This is the lighting for today's video. So, in previous videos, namely my COVID ones, because those are my most recent ones, because that's just what I'm going through, people have been asking, or assuming, I guess, if I am using COVID for attention. Why have I had COVID so many times? It's crazy, and I'm gonna explain to you why. First and foremost, I should mention that I live in New York City, which means there's a lot of people here and very little space, and everyone's pretty much like in a sardine can. And, you know, the more people that are around, the more germs that are breathed around, and the higher chances of you breathing in someone else's COVID germs are, rather than if you live like in the suburbs or like in the middle of nowhere where your neighbors are really far away and you drive cars instead of take public transportation everywhere. Less contact with people, less germs, less COVID. Second thing is I am chronically ill. I do have illnesses that fall under that stupid umbrella that the CDC considers as immunocompromised. I personally don't think that I'm immunocompromised. Like, I am sick all the time, sure, but I mean, like, I ain't that sick. There are people who are sicker than me, but the health conditions that I have fall under that umbrella, that like little graphic thing that they released like a really long time ago during the height of the pandemic. And I do have several things that fall under that umbrella, so I guess I'm technically immunocompromised. Whatever. Third and most important thing is I actually have roommates, and all of my roommates, which is 3 of them, are anti-COVID, anti-vax. So this is an anti-vax freedom house. And the thing is, it's just like, because I have a lot of allergies, it has been told to me by many doctors not to get the vaccination. And I even have a video in the past where I have tried to get the vaccine like 10 times and everyone has told me no. So even though it is the law in New York City that everybody has to be vaccinated, I personally have an exemption, and my roommates work in jobs that actually don't require them to be vaccinated due to a loophole in the law, which I'm not going to share with you. When they told me, I didn't believe them, and I Googled it, and it turns out that there is a loophole that a lot of companies are actually exploiting in a certain industry, the industry of which they are employed. So basically, these guys are working jobs that don't require vaccinations due to a loophole. I'm over here immunocompromised, quote unquote, and also, you know, like free of, you know, the medical thingy jabby jabs. So that in combination is why I keep getting sick, because I know for a fact that my roommates have had COVID and they don't think that they have COVID, but they come to tell me, they're like, I can't smell anything, I can't taste anything, I have a really bad cough, I can't breathe. And I'm like, gee, you have COVID. And they're like, no, I don't, I'm just sick. And another thing, because this isn't all on them, for me personally, I also work in customer service, and I work with a ton of people, like a ton of people. I am closer to people than doctors are closer to people. I am sharing more space with and more time with people than anyone. Like, even the therapist doesn't stay with you as long as I'm standing right by you, sharing your space less than 6 feet. I'm actually, sometimes I'm like this far away from someone's face. And, you know, like the longer you stay in contact with a person in a small space, the bigger chance you have of getting whatever they have if they're sick. And of course, not everyone is careful, not everyone cares, and seeing as how my roommates are the way that they are, not everyone believes that COVID is a big deal or exists. So, you don't know, I don't know the people who I come in contact with, if they're vaccinated, what their stance is, if they have COVID or not, you know, any of those things. And instead I'm just kind of like in their vicinity for an hour and a half, up to 3 hours. And a lot of people, small space, real bad, real warm, you know, air is blowing, so like the germs are blowing around. So I also have exposure through my work. Thankfully, since I've gotten COVID and pneumonia this past time, I have been at home for, at this point, a month and 2 weeks. I haven't gone to work. And I'm gonna take my time because honestly, they can't fire me because I'm technically out because I have COVID and pneumonia. You know, and it's been great. I feel better. As you can see, my voice is clear. I am no longer coughing. Not that I like made many videos of me like hacking, but I'm almost better. I am on the mend, and hopefully I don't get COVID a 4th time. But at this point, you know, I'm not really going to be surprised because, again, I do live in like a vaccine freedom house. COVID free. There's gonna be a name for this. I'm gonna like name my house. It's gonna be like vaccine free. I don't know what it's gonna be called, but it's gonna be called something. So yeah, all of those factors combined, plus a couple more, which I'm not really going to mention because it has to do with their lifestyle, are why I keep getting sick, and most likely why I have COVID. My friends mostly think that it is them constantly giving me COVID. They don't believe that I have gotten it from going to work because I don't do anything social. I go to work when I'm fully masked, and then I go straight home. The fact that I keep getting it, a lot of people think that it is these guys who keep just getting sick, not thinking it's COVID, not caring, and passing it to me. But you know what? We will never know. We'll never know. And that's really the problem. And every single time I've gotten COVID, it's just worse and worse and worse. And this time was pretty bad. I did have to go to the hospital. So who knows what it's going to be next time. But yeah, it's really cool.